My cheating wife boasted about her lover. What I did left her begging for mercy. You never really expect the person you love to stab you in the back while smiling at you across the dinner table, but that's exactly what my wife Kim did. For most of our marriage, I thought we were solid. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but we laughed, traveled, and shared dreams. Kim was always the extrovert, charming, lively, and magnetic. She could walk into a room full of strangers and have everyone laughing within minutes. I used to admire that about her. But charm can be a double-edged sword. It all started to unravel one Friday night when we hosted a small get-together for friends and coworkers. Kim loved throwing parties, planning the decorations, cooking her signature dishes, fussing over every detail. I was fine letting her take charge. That was her thing, and I loved seeing her in her element. Among the guests was one of her coworkers, Ryan. I didn't like him from the start. He had that smarmy, overly confident vibe, the kind of guy who thinks every woman wants him. Kim brushed off my concerns when I mentioned it. "Oh, please," she laughed. "Ryan's harmless. Don't be jealous." That night, as the drinks flowed and laughter filled the house, I went to the kitchen to grab another bottle of wine. That's when I overheard Kim talking to her best friend, Leela, just around the corner in the hallway. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but her voice carried, and what I heard made my stomach twist. "God, Leela, you don't understand," Kim said, her tone giddy and conspiratorial. "Ryan is incredible. The things he does, I swear, James could never." Leela gasped. "Wait, are you serious? You're actually sleeping with him?" Kim giggled like a teenager. "Let's just say I've been getting what I need lately. James is sweet, but boring. Ryan makes me feel alive again." I froze. For a moment, I thought my ears were deceiving me. But the smugness in her tone, the casual cruelty, it was unmistakable. My wife, the woman I loved and trusted, was bragging about cheating on me in our own home while I was in the next room pouring drinks. My hands were shaking so badly, I nearly dropped a wine bottle. Every instinct screamed at me to storm in there, to shout, to throw her out right then and there. But I didn't. Something inside me, cold and sharp, told me to wait. I spent the rest of the night pretending everything was fine. I smiled, served food, laughed at jokes, even shook Ryan's hand when he came up to thank us for hosting. Inside, I was a volcano ready to erupt. When the guests finally left and Kim went to bed, I stayed up in the dark living room, staring at the wall, replaying her words over and over. That was the moment I decided I wasn't going to be the fool she thought I was. Over the next few days, I became an investigator in my own home. Kim had always been careless with her phone. She'd leave it on the counter, screen lighting up with messages she didn't bother to hide. I started small, checking her call history and messages when she was in the shower. Then I got into her email. What I found confirmed everything. There were texts, long, flirty threads with Ryan, pictures that made me sick to my stomach, and emails arranging lunch meetings that were anything but professional. But I didn't stop there. I wanted solid proof, something she couldn't weasel her way out of. I hired a private investigator, a retired cop recommended by a friend. He was professional, discreet, and thorough. Within a week, he had everything. Photos of Kim and Ryan checking into a hotel, time-stamped receipts, even a video of them kissing in the parking lot. That was when I discovered something else. Ryan was married. His wife, Ava, had just given birth 3 months ago. I felt sorry for her. No one deserves to be blindsided like that. So I reached out anonymously. I sent her the evidence I had and told her she deserved to know. Her reply was short but heavy. "Thank you. I'll handle this my way, but I think we should coordinate." That message lit the fuse. 2 weeks later, Kim decided to host another dinner party, a celebration for one of her work projects. She was back to her bubbly, carefree self, completely oblivious to the storm brewing just beneath the surface. I played along, pretending to be the loving, supportive husband. We cleaned the house together, cooked, and set the table. I even helped her choose the wine. Of course, Ryan was on the guest list, and guess who else showed up unexpectedly halfway through the evening? Ava. Kim greeted her politely, assuming she was just Ryan's wife tagging along. I almost laughed at the irony, my wife chatting cheerfully with the woman she'd unknowingly betrayed. Dinner went smoothly at first. Laughter, wine, conversation. Kim was in her element, basking in the attention. But when dessert was served, I tapped my glass. "Everyone," I said calmly, "I'd like to share something important." Kim smiled, thinking I was about to toast her success. "Oh, James, you don't have to." I held up a hand. "Actually, I do." I walked over to the TV and connected my laptop. The screen flickered to life. "Kim," I began, "I've always believed that honesty is the foundation of any marriage. Unfortunately, I found out that honesty hasn't been part of ours for quite some time." The first image appeared, a screenshot of a text exchange between her and Ryan. The room went silent. Then came the photos. Kim's face drained of color. "James," she whispered, "stop this, please." I ignored her. "For months, my wife has been cheating on me with Ryan here. She thought I wouldn't find out. She even bragged about it at a party right here in this house." Gasps rippled through the room. Ryan sat frozen, his fork halfway to his mouth. Ava stood up slowly, her expression unreadable. "I believe Ryan has something to explain to his wife as well," I said, turning to her. Ava stepped forward, her voice calm but cutting. "He doesn't need to explain. I already know everything. You see, James and I have been in touch. He was kind enough to show me proof. So here's what's going to happen. You two can have each other. I'm done." She took off her wedding ring, dropped it on the table, and walked out without another word. Ryan stumbled after her, pale and sweating. "Ava, wait!" The front door slammed. Kim was crying now, shaking. "James, please, we can talk about this. Not here, please." "Why not here?" I said evenly. "You were happy enough to talk about Ryan here when you thought I couldn't hear you. You humiliated me in my own home. Now it's your turn to face what you've done." Her sobs grew louder. The guests were speechless. Lila looked horrified, unable to meet my eyes. I ended the presentation and turned off the TV. "Dinner's over. Everyone, thank you for coming." One by one, they filed out, avoiding Kim's gaze. When the door finally closed, she fell to her knees, begging, "James, I made a mistake. Please don't do this to me." I didn't answer. I went upstairs, packed a bag, and walked out. The next few weeks were chaos for her. Word spread fast. Her friends, co-workers, even her family found out. She tried to spin it, claiming I'd gone too far or violated her privacy, but the evidence was undeniable. Ryan's marriage imploded, and his company quietly let him go after Ava sent the proof to HR. As for Kim, she lost most of her social circle and eventually had to move back with her parents after I filed for divorce. She tried reaching out, dozens of texts, voicemails, even showing up at my office once crying and begging me to forgive her. I didn't. You see, forgiveness doesn't mean letting someone walk all over you. Sometimes it means letting them live with the consequences of their actions. It's been 6 months since that night. The divorce is finalized. I kept the house. Kim got a small settlement, nothing more. I've started dating again, but slowly. I'm taking time to heal, to rebuild myself. There's still pain, of course. Betrayal cuts deep. But there's also a strange kind of peace, the kind that comes when you finally stand up for yourself. Every once in a while, I hear through mutual friends that Kim still talks about me, that she regrets everything, that she wishes she could undo it. But that's not my problem anymore. Because the truth is, she made her choice and I made mine. And the day she boasted about her lover was the day I stopped being her husband and started being the man who wouldn't be humiliated quietly. She begged for mercy in the end, but mercy was something she never showed me.